Sorry. Hey, guys. Made myself an apple cider vinegar drink to help with my sinuses. Anyway. Got a piece of pumpkin bread. The next one is called Easy Hay Feeder. Keep thinking I have to be at work at 3, and I have to be there at 3:30, not 3, so... I still have about an hour, which is nice. Alright. Building a pallet hay feeder. Alright. This shows one of their baby goats. Can't wait to have goats. Our friend Andy has goats. Our friend Andrew has goats. Alright, we started our goat herd in November of 2012. Our baby goats, 3 kids, are now about 3 to 3.5 months old and finally weaned. I started shopping around for a good quality hay feeder. Goats are notorious for wasting hay. My goat mentor and giver of goats, Shelby, told me early on that if I wanted to save money on feed and hay, I needed to buy or build feeders. Goats pull large amounts of hay onto the floor at a time, then once on the floor it is just too dirty and unclean for them to even think about eating. Spoiled rotten goats, says I. I took a look at what our local Tractor Supply had on hand. A large wall-mount grain and hay feeder, but it didn't seem like what I needed for goats. This was more for a single horse. I think it was priced $119.99. And unfortunately they don't show the pictures. Excuse me just a second, guys. Okay, sorry guys. Anyway. I went online and found a really nice single capacity X-Tough wall mounted hay feeder from Premier One Supplies. It was reasonably priced at $33 and closer to what I was looking for, but upon ordering, I found out that the shipping cost was $26. I just have a hard time spending as much on shipping as the product cost, so I decided to wait and look around a little more. Rural King opened a new store in Circleville, about 25 miles from us, so we drove over to see what they had for supplies. I found a heavy metal corner mount hay feeder for $26.99 and purchased it. Not until I got it home did I realize or remember we have large 6x6 posts in the corners of each stall so the feeder would not work. That sucks. And if I would have thought it through a little more, I would have realized the rungs in the feeder were spaced pretty far apart, so most likely the goats would have pulled all the hay onto the floor anyway. Ugh. I decided to use some of the old barn wood we salvaged last year and build a hay feeder for ourselves. Sorry, guys. Okay.
Can I speak English, you moron?
I decided to use some of the old barn wood we salvaged last year and build a hay feeder myself. Sorry, I screwed that sentence up last time. On my way back to our back barn to collect the wood, I passed my collection of 3 pallets. A light went off. Work smarter, not harder, I always say. Forgetting the old barn wood, I carried 1 pallet into the barn, and after figuring and ciphering for a few minutes, I came up with this design. First, placing the pallet on 5-gallon buckets, I used a saw and cut the pallet in half. Next, after flipping the half pallet over, I cut off the wood strips on the backside. Yeah, I can't show you the pictures because they don't come up, so... My next step was to decide how wide I wanted the hay feeder. We want the goats for milk, which means I will have more baby goats, which means I should make a larger hay feeder. I took 2 hay flakes and laid them on the half pallet. I drew the cut line and then cut the pallet to the desired width, which when finished will hold 2 hay flakes side by side. This part of the pallet is now the front of the hay feeder. If you need a larger hay feeder, use the entire side. No cut needed here. I wish I could show you the pictures, but I can't. Next, I cut 2 pieces of 2x4 to the same height as the hay feeder will be, or the same as the side height of the cut pallet. These 2 2x4s were then mounted to the 2x4 were then mounted to the barn wall at the exact width of the front of the feeder. I also wanted to make sure the feeder would be high enough off the ground, but not too high. Since I'm working by myself, I needed something to hold the front of the feeder up while I attached it to the 2x4s. I rigged up a prop, then held the front of the feeder out to the desired angle and measured the boards I would need for both sides, or for the sides. The side boards will not only attach the front to the 2x4s at the desired angle, but also prevent large amounts of hay from falling out of the feeder. Once the side boards were cut, I again used a prop to hold the front in place while I screwed the side boards on. I am a huge fan of drywall screws. I cannot speak their praise enough. That's probably what we'll get. My feeder is done. I had barely enough time to drop 2 flakes of hay into the feeder before the goats were on it. Well, actually, the goats were underfoot the entire time I was building this, chewing the box of drywall screws, chewing my hair. Festus even chewed my bootlaces and untied one. The hair chewing has just got to stop. What I learned researching hay feeders is that there are hundreds of kinds, models, and styles made out of numerous different things. And that's okay if you want to purchase one and okay to build one, whatever works at your farm and for your animals. I am and always have been a reuser, a recycler, a savager, and reclaimer. So this was what works best for me in the end. The cost was next to nothing. The pallet was free. I salvaged the old piece of 2x4. The only cost was a handful of drywall screws in my time. Less than 2 hours. It's winter here, so this feeder is perfect for now. Come spring and warmer weather, I may redo this with straighter lines and perfect cuts, but maybe not. Good luck with your design and hay feeder. Okay. So that was all for that one on building an easy pallet hay feeder. So I will go ahead and get this one titled and the title written down and get it ready for Chloe to put the intro on. So I will see you guys on the next video. Be sure to like and share the videos and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get all of the videos. Get all the notifications for all my videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.